game is over, and KVNU Game Day continues with Aggie Call. Your chance to talk about today's game. Sponsored by Alpine Home Medical, Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning, Les Olson Company, Jarek's Fine Jewelry, My Mattress, Elements Restaurant, Cache Valley Bank, Daryl's Appliance, Advanced Fireplace and Stove, Cache Valley Ear, Nose and Throat, White Pine Funeral Home, S.E. Needham Jewelers, Cache Valley Bank Mortgage, Castelite, and LSS Insurance. KVNU Game Day, with the voice of the Aggies, Al Lewis.
I said on our pregame that Blake Anderson was trying to break a real curse as the Utah State football coach in his very first game. Do you realize you have to go back 48 years for a coach in his very first game at Utah State to win? It was Phil Kruger beat Weber State 10-3 on September 15th of 1973. So, again, now Frank Miley did win his first game as an interim coach in the bowl game. So, I mean, there's a technicality there. But for head coaches getting the job, again, Utah State wins the game by a score of 26-23. And all of us can't believe it. Again, we just loved it. And wow, what a finish. We got Ryan Boehm, Eric Franson here with me, Al Lewis. We'd love to have you join with us. Again, all you Aggie fans, here's your show. It's 753-5868's phone number. Guys, that was one we've seen so many times. The Aggies have had a chance to get to the end of the game and maybe pull one out, and the Aggies did it. What can you say? I mean, it was a terrific drive there in the last, let's see, it ended up being the last 3:02 of the game.
Unbelievable. You know, for us to do not much of anything offensively for most of the game. I mean, we had some yards, but just couldn't get it in the end zone. And then to have two drives in the fourth quarter when the game was on the line. I mean, Utah State football just doesn't do that. And so that was...
And Ryan Boehm played Utah State Aggie football, folks.
that was fantastic. I mean, I think all of us were a little speechless on that one.
We, the Aggie Nation has been so close. Aggie fans have been on the precipice, waiting for something like this to happen for so long. Man, what a way to pull that out, to beat a Power 5 program on the road. It's something that hasn't been done in long time. And look, there were times where we weren't sure what was going on with the quarterback situation. We didn't know who the quarterback should be from drive to drive. But man, give Logan Bonner credit. He pulled it together in that fourth quarter with those two drives, and everybody else that came together. It was fantastic.
I mean, Utah State, really, to be honest, the key in this game was when they stopped Washington State, when they had the ball inside the 10-yard line and all the momentum in the world, and their coach took their starting quarterback out, decided to run some system with their third quarterback, who's a kid from Lehigh, Utah. It didn't work. They had to settle for a field goal. Their momentum went away, and the Aggies put together two scoring drives. 5:25 to go. Calvin Tyler Jr. scored. Then they got him the 3-and-out with the sack at the end of it, and then they take over with 3:02 to go and score with 13 seconds to play. So... and again, Logan Bonner in that period of time, 10 for 10 throwing, some key runs too by him and by Calvin Tyler. And what was interesting is the Aggies didn't use a lot of pace at different times in those last two scoring drives, Ryan, after we saw them want to play so fast in the first part of the game.
Yeah, I was really surprised. I thought, especially, the first touchdown drive, I mean, we must have ate up six minutes on the clock or something, or more maybe. We just kept running the ball. And, I was getting a little frustrated wanting us to go faster. But, at the end of the day, fantastic just to put together those two drives in that situation with that pressure and to execute against a team that, historically we wouldn't have come back and made that play. But it's a new era.
Hey, what's his name? Devin Tompkins. Aren't we glad he came back and got out of the portal and decided to come back to Utah State Aggie football?
Wow, no kidding. Huge plays for him. He had a big play early. He had some plays in the middle of the game, and of course, he had those huge plays late. And we're talking a lot about the offense. I mean, they had to get into the end zone, and it took late for him to finally do that. But Man, that Utah State defense, we need to talk about that defense holding strong, preventing a lot of short opportunities from Washington State. Like, the Aggies kept them out of the end zone several times, and they had to settle for field goals. So that defense really very stout for Utah State up front, and I thought the way they were covered in the secondary was also really strong.
There was the period of time there where the Aggie defense didn't get the pressure. It seemed like right from the start, I thought the Aggies were in on the quarterback. We got a sack in the game, obviously, for a safety that got 2 of our points in the game. But then that long period of time in the third quarter and the start of the fourth quarter, you thought, okay, where are we defensively? We're not putting pressure on. We're not there on some of the pass plays and all. But then we finally did clamp down and get that pressure back up at the end. Bannerman was in there at the end with those other guys to make the play on the third down. We were able to stop 2 short screen passes rather than they didn't run the ball against us right there. They threw outside screens and tried to get somebody to break a play in that last drive they had. Their last possession in between our 2 scoring drives, our first 2 touchdowns of the game on those 2 drives.
Yeah, defensively we gave up 338 yards. I mean, you would take that against any team, any game.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, hats off to the defense. They were flying around. That's one thing I wish we could get a little more pressure on the quarterback, and we're going to need to. But overall, that's a fantastic game on defense.
And we did get some pressure, though, at times on the quarterback. And we defended the pass tonight. There for a while, we wondered where that went away because, for the most part, we defended the pass pretty well tonight with our corners and our safeties and everything like that, too, in the game.
And a lot of time, these guys were in one-on-one coverage. They were on islands, and I thought they were aggressive. They made great plays. There were some throws that were not really great that Washington State was throwing out there. They're not their original designated starting quarterback. They had a quarterback battle, though. It's not like there's this huge drop-off from their designated starter that they had known for forever. But still, just a great effort on multiple different sides of the ball for Utah State, overcoming some early turnovers, one by Peasley, one by Bonner, but hanging in there and making a way to make it happen. And the running game also for Utah State, Calvin Tyler Jr. and Gentry, really solid. And that was especially in that late in the third quarter and then much of the fourth quarter, it was that running game that really kept Utah State alive.
Calvin Tyler Jr., 14 carries, 84 yards. Gentry had a couple decent runs on the scoring drive as well that got it started, our first touchdown drive. Big third down catch by Justin McGriff. We waited for him to be a part of the offense, and he caught that third down play that kept the drive going for the first touchdown. And then after that, a Tompkins catch, a bowling catch where he caught the ball low on the ground that they reviewed. And then Thompson runs the reverse and runs it down to the 5-yard line. And then Tyler 2 runs to get the touchdown to make it, again, at that point, 23-18. And that was with 5:25 to go. And the Aggies went to 6 for 14 on third downs after they'd been struggling on third downs. They got those. And then the next series starts with McGriff a catch, Tyler makes a run, and then Tyler a catch. Bonner makes a run, and then it's Tyler with a catch, and he fell down to force us to have the fourth down play from the 41-yard line. His feet got tangled, and then he catches it, gets the first down. Tompkins with a catch, Thompson with a catch. Bonner gets the run, and then the pass interference call as he threw the ball down the sidelines, and then we get the ball in the end zone with the Tompkins slant pass, and the Aggies get the 2-point play even after that to win at 26-23. Wow.
Wow. That's all we can really say is wow.
That's all we need to say. And again, an offense that did produce 439 yards, only gave up 338. The Aggies only gave them 3 of 11 on third downs all night long, which is good. They never tried a fourth down. The Aggies were 2 for 2 on fourth down. So the Aggies did overcome the 2 turnovers in the game. They had the 1 turnover in the contest. And again, both teams had about 30 minutes. So about even in that category. They had 5.7 rushing attempts, so maybe they didn't run the ball enough. And the Aggies had 5 yards out of 46 rushing attempts. The Aggies averaged 5. That's back to when we had Darwin Thompson and those guys. We were averaging 5, 6, 7 yards a carry in some of those games. So it's been a while to see that. So All kinds of things to talk about. We're hoping to hear from coach and players here in a moment or two as well from Pullman. 753-5868 if you want to join with us on our Aggie Call. It's brought to you in part by Alpine Home Medical, offering a variety of home medical equipment products and home rental services in Utah and Idaho. And you go online to alpinehomemedical.com. Ryan Boehm, former Aggie player, Eric Franson from Full Court Press in the afternoons over on The Fan, and Al Lewis here on our game day where the Aggies coach is the first coach to win an opener as a coach at Utah State in 48 years. 753 KVNU.
There's a lot of strain on various industries right now. Supply stretched thin as demand is at an all-time high. If you are building or remodeling and are looking for ideas for stone to face your home, it's crazy. Coldwater Stone and Tree Modern and Castellite and Logan want to take that frustration and challenge away from you. They are a local homegrown business with stone products made by Coldwater and sold by Castellite. Stop in and make your choice today for brick, block, rock, paver, and tile. Go where the pros go. Online at Castellite.com.
This is Ryan at My Mattress. Only 30 seconds to tell you about the ridiculous deals on mattresses for our biggest sale of the year, the Labor Day sale. Queen pillow top mattresses start at $299. Twins only $69. American-made Minky weighted blankets are half off. Truckload purchase of a Queen latex pillow top only $9.99. Free adjustable base on IntelliBed and up to $700 off Tempur-Pedic. And one last thing, up to 5 years no interest financing available. The Labor Day sale at My Mattress. Isn't it time to sleep exceptionally?
I'm here with Jay Broadbent from Alpine Home Medical. Jay, I hear your ads for CPAP resupply all the time. What do I need to do to just get that taken care of?
It's easy. We can set up your CPAP resupply within a few minutes. We'll work out all the insurance for you, and then we'll start mailing the supplies straight to your door. You can even chat with a CPAP specialist online. Just visit us at alpinehomemedical.com. We'll have you sleeping better in no time.
Alpine Home Medical, we bring wellness home.
More analysis about today's game and your chance to talk about it. Call 753-KVNU or 800-369-KVNU. KVNU Game Day is back.
Hey, we appreciate you joining with us. Again, all you Aggie fans, this is the local show, but we also know that people, again, who follow the Aggies religiously have stuck with us. Craig and I, again, going 50 years now. As we talked about it on the pregame show, we've covered Utah State continuously on the radio for 50 years. Nobody can claim that around. We got Ryan Boehm, who played with the Aggies, Eric Franson, who's watched the Aggies for a long time now and talked about them now on the Full Court Press. So join with us, 753-5868. We are waiting for Pullman and players and coaches, but we're going to bring Harry in right now. So, Harry, again, we've waited a long time to have you on after a win like this over Washington State, 26-23.
Yes, it's fantastic. And, of course, if the coaches come on, just cut straight in. I want to hear what they have to say. And good morning. It's 3 o'clock in the morning here in New Jersey. Aggies, of course, all over the place are extremely happy. A road win against a Power 5 team. The Blake Anderson era, it started a little shaky there in the first half. Yeah, I don't like the up-tempo offense. I complained about it a couple years ago when we tried it. I thought it ruined Jordan Love a little bit, but it's kind of amazing when we slowed down a little bit and pulled a few runs, in between the guards. We moved the ball and we got our first touchdown of the day. Now, I'm not going to say that was, that there was a causation correlation argument with that, but I do believe that if we can just slow down a little bit and, maybe run the ball a little bit with the trio of running backs we have, maybe as the year goes on, we'll score more touchdowns. I didn't think we were going to score a touchdown this game. We got close, and then the penalties. And then, when you run these kind of offenses, I've always said that when you get inside the 20-yard line, it's easy to clamp down on it. But all things considered, I mean, this is amazing. I mean, I wish I could scream. I really could. I'll call the cops. It's the middle of the night here. But it really is great to be an Aggie, to have graduated from Utah State, and to be very self-deprecating about the fact that we don't win a lot of games, and when we do, we never win a big game. And we could argue Wazoo isn't that good. They're probably not, but they're in the Pac-12, and we're not, and we beat them, and we beat them on their field, and that's going to be good enough. Hopefully, I'll be able to call and talk a little bit more after the North Dakota game, which is on TV, thankfully. I don't got to scour the internet looking for a stream. I could just go right on CBS Sports Channel.
Yep.
But
next Friday night at 7, our time.
Yeah. I appreciate hearing your guys' voice. I didn't want to call last year. That wasn't football last year. I mean, it had nothing to do with the fact that the Aggies were bad. Just the whole year, it just completely wiped from memory. But the fans and everyone else are in the stands again. And, I didn't mean to rhyme. It's 3 a.m. That happened accidentally. But it's good to hear your voices. It's good to start the season off with a win. Go Aggies. Let's keep it up Friday night against North Dakota. Thank you, gentlemen.
Harry's got a good point about the tempo. Ryan, you played football. You understand it. There, all of a sudden, when the Aggies have the 2 timeouts and the clock's running like it was, we were really worried that, again, but boy, did they managed it well and stayed calm, and you could tell stuck within plan and didn't panic at the times when maybe they could have.
Yeah, I tend to agree with Harry on the tempo. I think there's a time to go fast. I like when you get a first down and you go fast on that next down. Don't give them the opportunity to sub out, see if you can pick up
or
5
get a
or
big
6
play
yards.
or something. Yeah.
So I like that. But our first 2 possessions, we had the ball for 45 seconds or something, right?
So super fast. Yeah.
I think that definitely can hurt you where you put your defense right back on the field. But one point that Harry made was running the ball. It's kind of almost a lost art in college football these days. It's all about spread. It's all about throwing the ball up tempo. And, other than Alabama that beats everybody, nobody else runs the ball. And so there's something to be said about going out and getting a couple 100 yards on the ground. And, that's tried and true. We've been doing that for, lots and lots of years in terms of winning college football teams. So if we can continue to run the ball this effectively, it will open up the field for us and allow us to throw the ball more, which I think my one critique offensively of us today is we didn't attack the middle of the field and we didn't really get vertical other than that one route to Tompkins early on. Mm-hmm. You've got to stretch the field. Even if you throw incomplete passes, you've got to go over the top to open up the field. It opens up the run. It opens up the short pass. So I hope that we open the playbook a little more in the coming weeks.
I mean, they kept talking about running back by committee, but I think we were all really centered in, Eric, on, okay, who's going to be the quarterback, Bonner or Peasley? And it's going to be wide open. We've got this group of receivers. We've got 9 guys that maybe can play. And I think maybe we saw Van Leeuwen make a catch. We saw Wright make a catch. We had Tompkins. We had McGriff. We didn't go to Terrell at tight end, I don't think we saw, but we did see some of that. But I don't know if we thought that we would have a runner that would step up as fast as it looked like Calvin Tyler did tonight. But again, Gentry did have some moments there in the second half too. Yeah, and look, Coach Tucker has made it clear early in the year that there's a number of really good running backs Utah State has, and he would rather have a running back who has fewer touches but more yards per carry, and rather than just like a few guys that always touch the ball. And so we saw a little bit of that, but Calvin Tyler, especially in that second half, really started to get things going. And talk about a balanced offense here. 220 on the ground, 219 through the air.
We haven't had that for a while.
It doesn't get more balanced than that. So great overall performance offensively by Utah State.
Tyler had 6, yard average is what he ended up with in the running for the game. And you know who else, I'm looking back at my notes, in that first scoring drive, you know who else all had one really big run in there that helped him out was Elion Noah. He came in when Gentry was running the ball there, and then they went to Tyler on the last part of the first scoring drive, and then the entire last of the game. And Tyler made some great catches. And the back out of the backfield catching the ball is still a big deal. Washington State's got the Borgie guy who's both a Doak Walker and a Bolitnikoff guy because he catches the ball so much out of their backfield. He got the one long play. I'm glad they didn't throw the ball to him much out of the backfield because we threw it to our backs and it worked. Out of the backfield.
Yeah, and Borgie did have that one.
Looks like Coach Anderson's
big
on
play,
here now.
but we'll hear from what Coach has to say.
If we've got the coach here.
Really, what do you say? Just really proud of the guys. Not surprised, to be honest with you. Not surprised at all. I talked all week about what our formula was to win this game and how we prepared, and that if they would just trust and believe in the plan and go out and stick to it and keep it close at halftime and give ourselves a chance to stay within reach, that our conditioning and the way we operate and the way we prepared and what our offseason has looked like, what our strength coach has done and strength staff has done to get our guys in great shape where we could still play fast in the fourth quarter and be sharp and fresh. And I think it's exactly what you saw. We did not play our best football. We turned the ball over. We made some mistakes that honestly could have lost the football game that we need to learn from. But all in all, we made plays when we absolutely had to. The kids believe completely in what we're doing and how we're doing it, and really just gave us everything we needed. Proud for them. When you listen to Doug talk about how long it's been that something like this been done, this is a memory that they'll never forget. Something I'll never forget as well. And to me, hopefully, it's just the first step for a lot of great things for us as a family. And so I'm excited. We're going to get home and prepare for a short week, but man, this is going to be sweet. Food's going to taste better. The bed's going to be softer, and it's going to be a fun one for everybody. It sure was tonight. What questions do you have?
Coach Jacob Nielsen, Statesman, KSL tonight. You certainly were not blowing smoke all fall camp when you said you didn't know who the starter was going to be, and they went double trouble tonight. But Bonner and his two touchdown drives there at the end, did that maybe solidify him going into next week, and what do you think about both of those guys' performances tonight?
Well, I think they both did really, really good things, and they both did some kind of dumb things, to be honest with you. The fumble that Peasley had was just bad ball security. We've got the pick that, really the ball, the type of ball, technique of the ball that came out should have been thrown differently. Both of them made critical mistakes, but they also made big plays. So we're not gonna jump to conclusions about what the next step's going to be there. I feel like that Bonner's experience showed up tonight. He's played a lot of games. He's been in an environment. He definitely wasn't shook by the environment, the noise, the pressure of the game. But I thought Peasley's feet and the ability to extend plays and a couple of balls he threw were phenomenal too. So we'll evaluate the tape when the emotions are out of it, make a very analytical decision and see if we're ready to make an absolute decision or not. But I would not have played both tonight if I didn't think we could win that way. And you can see that, clearly we were able to do that. So I think we learned a lot about both. I just want to make sure we do it the right way and watch the tape and make really detailed decisions.
Coach Al Lewis from KVNU Radio in Logan, did you make a conscious decision, because you've talked about playing so fast offensively, you slowed down and it seemed to make your team better, slowing down?
We slowed down at times. Some of it has to do with just if you get a positive play or negative play, that has a lot to do with it. When we had efficiency on first down and we're able to get a first down, we played fast at times. We had some guys cramping up, to be honest with you, and we were trying to get the right dudes on the field that were able to finish. I think playing at 8 o'clock, one of the worst things about that is just the anxiety that the guys go through all day long, and you can water them and hydrate them as best you can, but just their nervous energy going. And we had a handful of guys cramping, and it did slow us down a good bit in terms of having to change personnel a lot more than we wanted to. So I'm hoping we can play faster, more consistently than we did tonight.
Coach Anderson, Jason Turner from the Herald Journal. The defense just really made plays all night long at all three levels too. All 11 guys. Just how gratifying was it to see everything come together at times defensively like it did?
Well, considering what everybody has said about our defense leading up to this, all the experts, and considering how they finished a year ago and what the people here in Pullman were saying about them all week leading up to the game, they couldn't have played any better to be, after the turnovers, to be able to force field goals, to get the three and out there at the end to get us the ball back. And it's hard to expect them to play any better than they did. We tackled well, with the exception of getting circled on the edge a couple times, and I really honestly think we were just out of gap. Maybe some schematic, not so much scheme, but just technically not being where we needed to be. A couple mistakes. I think it could have even looked differently. The big run down the sideline, we should have been right there to make the play. Another big, one of the screens that they hit, really should have had a guy right there. So there's some things we can fix, but all in all, they played with a ton of energy. They played together. They tackled well. and gave us a chance to stick in the game when the offense was struggling a little bit.
Hey, Coach. Trent Wood with Deseret News. You kind of already answered this question, but I kind of just want to confirm it. What went into the decision to have Logan be your QB on that final drive?
Experience, rhythm there at the end. Just Coach Tuck and I talked on the headset, and just where he was at that point. He's been in that situation a lot more than Peasley has, and just felt like they both have done really good things all night. But that's an area. That's a situation that you only really learn to be calm and collected through experience. And he's been in that enough that we just felt like we would lean on that, and he did exactly what I expected him to do.
Coach Al Lewis again. If nobody's going to ask you, do you realize you're the first coach at Utah State to win their opening game in 48 years?
Is that right, Don?
1973.
You know what? I didn't play it down. So the kids deserve the credit. I just kind of get to go along for the ride. Couldn't be more proud. I just told them I expected it. I really believed this was a game that we could win. I didn't know exactly what we had, but if they play the way I asked them to and fight the way I asked them to, it's not that I'm not excited, and maybe it doesn't show, but it's just I really felt like this is something we can do, and to me, it's just step one. So I'm gonna enjoy it, but I didn't play, so I get the credit for the win, but they did all the hard work.
Coach, go ahead.
Go for it, Jacob. You got it.
Cool. Coach, started that fourth quarter, the defense, they hold them to a field goal, so it's 23-11, and you're just looking at Twitter, like it was a 97% chance or something like that, something wild for Washington State to win that game. So what do you tell your guys when they come back on the field, and how do they just keep believing?
Well, I grabbed them and brought them all up at the beginning of the fourth quarter and told them nothing changes. We're right where I thought we'd be. We're in a game with a quarter left to play. They're going to get tired. We're not. And that's exactly what happened. The game runs that were 3 and 4 yards in the first quarter started turning into 6 and 7. We started getting more and more space in the back end. When guys ran routes, there wasn't anybody around them. And we started looking quicker and faster, getting to the ball on defense. And it played out exactly the way I expected it to. As long as we didn't turn the ball over late, which we didn't, nothing about how it played out really surprised me all that much. And the kids did exactly what I asked them. Said, let's go win the fourth quarter. And we obviously did that. I don't know what the percentages are, but the game plan and the formula that we set in place to win this game, with the exception of the turnovers that we created early offensively, just out of some poor decisions, they did everything else exactly the way we needed them to win, and we got the win.
Coach, what kind of an impact do you think this win will have on what you're trying to build in Logan?
Well, I think it solidifies all the things we've been preaching to our players about being selfless, tough, and accountable, and just daily improvement, 1 degree at a time. And I've been telling them, because there's no guarantees that you do all those things that you're going to win. You're not going to necessarily get immediate success. So I think this just solidifies that what we're doing and how we're doing it and why we're doing it can have some really fun results. And if you talk to the guys, which you will, I think what we've got is a really, really close-knit group of guys that have bought in when they didn't have to. They could have made this really, really tough on me and the staff, and they haven't. They've bought in. We built really, really close relationships very quickly, and could not be more proud. But it can only fuel the fire of where we're headed in recruiting, in the community, in our fan base, but mainly for these guys to give them the energy to keep pushing even harder, because the results can only get better.
Guys, we continue this a lot on Monday. Let's do one more question and get players. It's really late, so let's do one more question for Coach Anderson.
I guess I'll throw it out there then if everyone's okay with that.
Yeah, go ahead.
The offensive line, I mean, they had those 3 straight false start penalties there that really stalled out one drive, but those guys really stepped up in the fourth quarter. Considering it's an area that maybe a little bit of concern heading into the season. How big of a deal was it for them to win the line of scrimmage against a veteran defense in the fourth quarter?
Yeah, that's huge. The noise early got us. We didn't handle that well. I really thought DT got in. Apparently he must have been down, but we needed a touchdown there badly. to survive having to kick a field goal there with the turnovers, that you're right, percentages were way against us, but that plays into our old line. We knew that we were going to be up against a tough defensive line. The way we approach things and, just the idea of dragging those guys into deep water in the fourth quarter, it showed. Our offensive line protected the quarterback late. We ran the ball well late and drove the ball down, 2 straight drives. And they don't get enough credit for just the job that they did, but it really played into, just our approach of being fresh and having juice late when you need it most.
Okay, guys, we're going to wrap up.
So that's a coach with, again, post-game KVNU Logan and KBLQ AM and FM over on the other side. And, again, we're hoping to get with the players right away, it looks like, is what their plan is from up there. In fact, stepping in right now
Here's
is
Devin Tompkins.
Devin
We'll let
Tompkins.
Devin start off with his description or analogy of that game-winning touchdown catch, and then you guys can ask him some questions.
The game-winning catch, I knew it was about to come to me. I just saw the way that the defense was aligned, and I saw how far off the safety was. And I kind of looked in at Logan, and I knew Logan was thinking the same thing as me. So I was prepared to take any hit that came with it. And I just knew that we needed to secure the ball in order to win this game. So,
DT, you told me the other day, you said we're bringing back that W. And
yes, sir.
How were you able to be so confident, and were you all able to maintain that the whole game, even though you went down there late?
Really, it's Coach Anderson. He really keeps us keeps us calm and allows us to, stay consistent and never get too high, get too low within the game. Even when things are going bad, if they're not going our way, like we had the one drive, where I caught the deep ball. I mean, I thought I was in, but it turns out I wasn't. So, we sat there and kept on getting pushed back. Oh snap! What happened? It's cut out. That's fine. Okay.
Sorry, a little technical difficulty. Everybody got us?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. But no, like I said, it really just started with Coach Anderson. He just always keeps us calm, tells us just to stay calm throughout any situation, whether we're down by 15, up by 15, the game's never over until it's 0-0 on that scoreboard. And, that was just the biggest thing. I looked in everybody's eyes. Everybody really was hungry, especially in that third, fourth quarter. Everybody was just ready to go. So I wanted to be able to lead the team and help us out a lot.
Devin, what's it like playing with 2 quarterbacks? What's that experience like?
It's not really that different, because in practice we work with both of them every single day. So there's really nothing different. We just step in with whoever's in there, we already know our chemistry. We all have good chemistry together. So it doesn't really make too much of a difference to me.
DT, this is your guys' first time beating a Power 5 opponent on the road since 1971 or something wild, and first time beating a Power 5 opponent in nearly 10 years. Just what does that mean to be a part of such a marquee win for the program?
It means everything. Ever since I first got here, our first year here, we lost to Michigan State, and then next year we lost to LSU and Wake Forest. There's 3 Power 5 teams I've lost to since I've been here. So this one is going to forever stick with me. This win right here is going to forever stick with me.
Devin, Al Lewis, KVNU, and Logan, you got off to such a fast start in the game, and then you finished great. In the middle of the game, did they go after you? Was just the plays not designed there? Because, again, you finished with such a flourish and had such a great start.
Really, it was more so of just, we had a lot of technical difficulties. We had different turnovers and things of that nature, miscommunication on some plays. So, that's really where it all came into play. And I really just learned to let the game come to me. You can't really force too much and stuff like that. So a lot of times, the play calls, if they were out of my control, there's nothing I could really do except, do my assignment and play for the love of the game.
DT, I'll ask you one more question, if that's cool. Just
cool.
Another big picture one. Talk Power 5 win, but also just the whole summer has just been trying to build up, and last year was a little bit embarrassing. And so to come out at the start of this year and just get a win, how big is that?
It's so big, we want to send a message to the conference and let them know this isn't the same Utah State team that was here last year. Completely different. Everything about us is different. Even the players that were here last year, mindsets have changed, coaching staff's changed, everything has just changed around here. So we're here to send a message.
Devin, you talk about things being different. I'm curious, is that just Coach Anderson and what he brought in? Is that the biggest change?
Yeah, Coach A has definitely played a really, really big factor, and as well as Coach Jackson, having Coach Jackson in the weight room, he's made us all tougher and have a killer instinct mindset. So I think that everybody, ever since Coach A and, the entire new staff, everybody on the staff, they changed all of the players' mindsets, and all of us bought into what they were bringing to us. And, we like Coach A said, he built the formula and we just followed through with it.
Anything else for Devin? Okay.
Appreciate you guys.
Okay, they'll probably bring in one more.
You guys
player,
want a
I'm guessing.
defensive player, or are we good for tonight?
Are they going to get a defensive guy in? I guess they're asking, and we're on the air live.
You're muted, Jacob.
Guys, what do you...
Speaking for myself, I'm probably good for tonight.
Okay. Trent, you good? Al, good. Jason's gone.
Okay, so it looks like that's it. So I guess we will not get a defensive player, but Devin Tompkins and the coach, your thoughts on what they said. Eric, we'll start with you.
Well,
okay, I got to turn on the mics. There we go.
There we go. Coach Anderson's class act. There are a lot of significant moments tonight, right? I mean, first coach in forever to win his first game as a new head coach. First coach in forever to beat a Power 5 team on the road.
1971 Kansas State was the last time that happened.
But, he's like, look, I didn't play it down on the field. I didn't do anything on the field. I mean, all the credit goes to these players. Yes, he will go down as the guy that has the credit, but he's trying to deflect that to his team and the process that in the journey they've been on really since January. And so a lot of credit does still go to him.
December 12th.
Well, that's true. It started a little before
And like
then.
I said, my whole thing since he came here, it's been a speeding train. It has been. Everything that's been has just been, they know exactly what they're doing, and they're doing it fast and hard and aggressive. Everything they're doing with recruiting, with conditioning, with preparation, with practice, all those kinds of things.
They are. And, we saw some things in scrimmages, and there's some flashes that look like, okay, this team's going to be good in this area, but, man, we really don't know how that offensive line's going to look. We don't know who the quarterback's going to be. There were some big questions coming into the season, but even strong stretches of this game tonight. But they hung in there. They stayed tough. Devin Tompkins giving the coaching staff a lot of credit for keeping everybody calm and keep to the plan, and it came through for him.
Brian, your thoughts on what you heard?
He said, "I'm not surprised with this result." Well, I'm surprised with this result, but I'm not in the trenches. I haven't been grinding with this team for 9 months and putting in the work, and so I think, hearing Devin and his analysis. And Coach said that the kids believe in what we're doing, and it appears that way.
It shows, doesn't it?
Yeah, they played. I mean, the first snap.
You could tell from the start. You told 2 or 3 plays into the game. You could tell this. He goes, they're playing harder than they played in years.
Absolutely, totally different speed on defense. Obviously, offense started rolling as the game went on, and we saw some stuff we haven't seen. A tempo and an aggressiveness. Guys flying around, getting excited. Yeah, so there's something different about Coach Anderson and his program, and what they're doing up there. This is a fun breed of football, and I hope this is just the tip of the iceberg. I hope it does give the team confidence that, hey, we can win and we can beat teams. And I watched a lot of Mountain West football this week. There's a lot of teams that we can. If we play like this or better or continue to improve, we're going to beat some teams in our conference. So that's very exciting.
This conference beat the Pac-12 twice.
And this conference also, though, lost to South Dakota State and lost to
Eastern
Washington. So there's some real highs for this conference, and Utah State provided a lot of it, and Nevada did also tonight by beating California. 2 road wins for our conference at Pac-12 places.
Al, you've talked to some of these players. You've been to some of the press conferences. I've had the opportunity to go up and talk to players and coaches after practices. There is such a marked difference this year compared to last year.
Well, and last year was just lost. I mean, it should never have started. Should have never even
off
played.
The field,
yes,
that was just stupid, crazy stuff. But these guys were so excited to just go out and play football, and I've never seen anything different than we're excited for this coaching staff, for their attitude. We believe in each other. There's an urgency, and there's just a lot more positive energy around this whole coaching staff and the players on this roster. And can't be happier for these guys to get this win, and for everybody that's been following this program for so long and seen so many come so close, only to be snatched at the last few minutes and not be able to get it. So great night for the Aggie Nation.
Ryan, you played long enough. If you had been through getting ready for a 6th football season like a lot of these guys are, after what happened last year, so many guys would have left. And in the end, really only 2 players left that really would have been impact guys to this year. Almost every single guy came back just to prove that 2018, when we were here, was what really Utah State football is rather than 2020.
And that's something that really indicates the quality of this coaching staff and their ability to build relationships with these kids quickly and have them buy in, because you don't win games like this without that buy-in. When I was on the team, we didn't believe in the whole process. We didn't believe that we were supposed to win in the 4th quarter. And we had a lot of games that we were in the second half, just like this. We were down a touchdown, middle of the 3rd quarter, we got the ball. Everyone's looking around, who's going to make a play? What are we supposed to do? Do we trust the play calling? Do we trust the system? And we didn't. These kids believe in those things. So that's indicative to me of the work they've put in. And, that's what it takes to have a change in the program and that momentum builds. These wins are important for recruiting. These wins are important for confidence, because we're going to get in a game in conference play that's going to be similar to this, where it's like, okay, we can remember 4 weeks ago we beat Washington State at their place when we were down 11 points. We can do that again.
Patrick Joyner and Jalen Bannerman, both the defensive ends, will get our Castellite rock-solid hits of the game. Bannerman there at the end of the game with the sack. Joyner got the sack for the safety in the game. Remember, it's Castellite, and it's really not that hard to install your own tile, and the experts can help you with all of those needs at Castellite.com. You can go online, and a lot of great information is available there for some of those projects to get done. And again, you can buy your best products, too, for tile and brick and block at Castellite. We got to take a break. 26-23, the Aggies pull it out with a touchdown. Again, 15 seconds to go eventually to put on the clock, or 13? 13 seconds with the clock. Again, as Tompkins caught the slant pass from 7 yards for the touchdown on the last scoring drive, and the Aggies pulled it out at Pullman, Washington tonight against the Cougars of the Pac-12. So 753 KVNU. Come on, Aggie fans, let's hear from you. We know you're too excited to sleep on this early Sunday morning, so Ryan and Eric would like to have your calls and questions. Give us a call, 753-5868.
The Riverwoods Conference Center is the center in Cache Valley for business, entertainment, and special events. Whether you're hosting a large or small event, you have the choice of inside with all the new modern interior renovations or outside along the scenic banks of the beautiful Logan River. The Riverwoods is an ideal choice, offering seamless planning, easy catering coordination, and will make your event as professional or as beautiful as desired. To book your next event or for more info, visit theriverwoods.com or call 435-750-5151. We'll see you at the Riverwoods.
Summer is cruising by way too fast. It's already back to school time. Soon, you're going to start experiencing many special places and events that you won't forget, such as your first slide down Old Main Hill, attending Aggie football and basketball games, or a wild party at the How. and your first kiss on the Aggie Bowl that might just lead to that extra special moment at Jarek's Fine Jewelry, Cache Valley's engagement ring store, where it's all about the romance. Just look for the bright green cars at 930 North Main Street.
We love being in Smithfield and making it easy for our friends and customers to do their banking. Hi, this is Danny Hansen, branch manager at Cache Valley Bank in Smithfield. If you don't bank with us, I invite you to discover what a great financial partner you'll find in Cache Valley Bank. I'm anxious to get to know you and invite you to stop by and say hello. Now celebrating our second year in Smithfield, located on the corner of Center and Main, Cache Valley Bank, member FDIC.
Advanced Heating and AC is honored to be named gold medalist for the best of Northern Utah in the AC HVAC category. They were named silver medalist for place to work and remodeler contractor. They thank you for your votes of confidence in their company. You have many choices when it comes to your home's heating and air conditioning system. Make sure you choose the gold medal winning company, Advanced Heating and AC. Call 752-7272 or stop by their showroom west of DI. Online at advancedheating-ac.com.
We get our first football game of the season. And the first one, again, we're going to forget all of last year. We talked about that, Craig and I did right at the top tonight. Just this new mix of players, the way the Aggies team was put together, new coaching staff, we can throw it all out. And again, we saw a different result than we have seen in a lot of years, the Aggies winning at a Pac-12 team. Now, in fairness, again, this is not UCLA, who beat LSU today. But again, it's Washington State, and the Aggies have lost to Wake Forest, who probably would have been kind of close to this ballpark, and the Aggies weren't able to break through in those situations. And they've had a chance at some of these other places with the game on the line, and they didn't come through. I still remember that Auburn game. I still remember, even Wisconsin with the missed field goal. We're in the game, going kind of back and forth a little bit with the. Texas A&M the one time when finally all of a sudden it turned. But again, this time the Aggies got it done. They had beaten Wake Forest at home when we played them the one time here. And, we've been able to do that. But the last team they beat that, again, is this caliber on the road was Utah in 1997, and that was before they joined the Pac-12. And so then you got to go back to a Power 5 conference, one of the Power 5s, and it's Kansas State 1971. So just the ramifications of it all are really something. But again, they got it done tonight. And again, there were a lot of players. Craig and I talked playmakers, and we thought that Tompkins, Scarver could be guys. We wondered what would happen at running back. I thought Calvin Tyler was really, really good, the transfer from Oregon State, who was really excited as he talked to us about playing Washington State. You could tell.
He ran the ball hard, and we needed it. He averaged 6 yards a carry, 14 carries for 84 yards. So that's crucial, and we saw that it did. We started to wear them down, which is amazing for me to say that. The Aggies wore the other team down running the ball.
Because really, Ryan, we went to the half, and we wondered, and then they came out and started running the ball in the second half, and it worked. And really, you hadn't really felt like, other than Peasley's scrambles a couple times in the first half, we had done a heck of a lot on the ground. And you kind of wondered, what are we doing here? But you know what? It worked. They finally got the offensive line to do whatever needed to be done.
Yeah, it's kind of that, body blow mentality in a boxing match. You just keep body blow, body blow, body blow, and eventually guys start getting tired. And that was pretty evident. We started to roll there in the fourth quarter, but it took a whole game to get there to kind of soften them up. And I even think there was a handful of opportunities where Peasley could have pulled it and ran the ball and gotten some big gains. So I even think they're going to go back and watch film and say, Andrew or Bonner or whoever it is, like, here's an easy first down if you just pull this ball instead of getting 3 yards. So I think our running game could have been even better if we had pulled it a few times.
753-5868 if you want to join in, Aggie fans, on a win at Washington State. Again, in a pretty packed house, it looked like up there at Martin Stadium, where they had been beaten by the University of Idaho the last time they played in this stadium, 31-3 in 1999, I think it was, when Idaho had to play their home games there because the Kibbie Dome was being renovated, and they moved the 8 miles over to the west, and Idaho took care of us in the last time we were in the stadium, so that was a good win.
Well, and part of the reason they did that, too, was so they could get enough fans there so they wouldn't drop down a classification.
They were trying to still get the average of 20,000 or 15,000 or whatever it was at that time, too. So,
but this look, the defense for Utah State today was phenomenal. Rice, I mean, he's
we talk about the offense.
advertised.
We talk about the offense because of what they got done on that last drive, but the defense did get them right off the field, a 3-and-out without using timeouts.
Yep.
And they really did rise up and make big plays in this game.
Yeah, there's a lot of the guys there just came up big. I thought they provided great pressures, put their quarterback on their heels a couple different times. Marcus Moore was in the face a lot. And Vaughn's, I mean, Vaughn Pachon, I mean, it's a long list. There were various different guys. It wasn't like Utah State had like one specific defensive dude who was just like killing it tonight. There were a lot of guys doing a lot of different things. I think that Tatum had some really big moments. He was really
Hope
good.
Shaq Bond's not hurt too badly.
Looked like he was running up and down the sidelines at the end,
Okay,
so
good.
hopefully that's a good sign. But, man, a lot of great plays today defensively for Utah State. Ephraim Bounda, what he's doing with that defense is for real.
Hey, you know who else we better mention? If Connor Coles doesn't make all these field goals in this game, we don't have a chance to do that because that was our only chance to score. We got a kicker who maybe didn't win the game with a last field goal like finally Eberle did. Remember the game at Fresno a couple years ago, but still we had a kicker who came through when he had a chance.
Yeah, we need to get points. When we get, call it with, red zone or close to the red zone, you have to get points because you're going to have some tight games like this where it's going to come down to 3 points. And him knocking those field goals through was the difference. So that's huge for us. It's huge for confidence for him to go out there and, what was he, 3 for 3? Moving into these upcoming games because certainly we want to punch it in, but you're not always going to punch it in.
And our defense only allowed 3 points off the field goal. The other field goal hit the upright after they got the other turnover, so they didn't score on that one. We only gave up 3 points after our turnovers of 2 in the game.
Yeah, that's true. And we also need to recognize Kotzenle, too. He had some great punts. And
how about the one at the 1 yard line?
Down at the 1 yard line, and the defensive pressure creates a safety in that situation off of great coverage. So
it's like the special
today.
teams added the 2 points along with the defense did there, too.
Yeah, that's right. So, give them credit.
We need to take another break. Again, it's post-game Aggie call. If you'd love to join with us, we heard Harry. We've heard from the coach. We heard Devin Tompkins. Love to have you on. We know it's late or early or late or however you want to put it. But, again, Aggie fans, you probably still are excited about this win tonight because we all are. It's Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning in Logan reminding you, again, service for heating and cooling units. You need to get that done towards the winter season. You can do it right now. They can also check your AC, too. It's 752-7272, and they bring you post-game Aggie call. And this is Game Day on KVNU.
This is James Stevens with White Pine Funeral Services. We often hear people say, I wish I could use White Pine, but I've already paid for arrangements elsewhere. Know that if you've already pre-planned with a different funeral home, you can still call White Pine. If you are being told you'll lose up to 25% of your money, White Pine will provide a discount equal to any fee for switching. If you have any questions, please stop by for a visit or give us a call. We would love to meet you and explain in more detail.
White Pine Funeral Services, here when you need us most.
S.E. Needham Jewelers is where Utah gets engaged. We offer a large selection of personalized service and extraordinary benefits with our integrity price guarantee. At Match Quality, you'll find our prices to be as low or lower than any store in the state. We consistently beat any 50 to 70% off sales, internet pricing, or so-called wholesale deals. In fact, we even price our diamonds at internet pricing. So you'll get S.E. Needham quality at internet prices. Open Monday through Saturday 10 to 7, where Utah gets engaged. S.E. Needham Jewelers, middle of the block, at the sign of the clock.
Old McDarrell has a farm and appliance farm
with down-home country prices and big city selection.
E-I-E-I-O. When you're looking for a friendly spot to drive a little and save a lot, hey, Old McDarrell has a farm and appliance farm. Darrell's Appliance. Low overhead, but lots of country charm. See Darrell's Appliance in beautiful downtown Benson.
The Aggies are always number one here. It's KVNU Game Day with the voice of the Aggies, Al Lewis, Eric Frenson, and Ryan Boehm.
And a different kind of start to 124 years of Utah State football. Again, to go out and win on the road against a big-time team, or at least a team that's in a big-time conference. And Washington State, to be honest, during the same amount of time when we turned our program around with Gary Anderson and with all of that, they turned theirs around, and we talked about that on the pregame going in. That's when Luke Falk, Logan High quarterback, went in there, and he and Mike Leach changed the fortunes of Washington State football too. They're not expected to have a one-win season like they had last year anymore up there because of that.
No, yeah, and they've Gardner Minshew. I mean, they've produced some pretty amazing talent up there. They seem to play well during the regular season and then kind of falter late, but yeah, they've really created a kind of some momentum there in Pullman in the Pac-12. So, look, Nick Rolovich has brought a lot of controversy on himself and that program, and there's been a lot of distractions off the field
with the COVID
stuff, and then this week news that a former player is suing him, and there's been a lot of distractions that have nothing to do with football.
He brings in another quarterback in a goal line situation with he's going to have to explain that package. He's going to have to explain that. Yeah.
I mean, you have the game in control. You can put it away, and
he comes in with a power-looking running type thing, and it went nowhere. And the Aggies made 2 or 3 great defensive plays in a row right there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I don't understand what that was, because it wasn't like he brought in Tim Tebow and ran him 2 times in a row. Like, he brought in the other quarterback, and the kid just handed it off 3 times. So that made no sense whatsoever.
Yeah, there wasn't even a jump pass in there or anything, that kind of deal. So that just made it 23-11. When they're on that run early in the fourth quarter, again, how much different is that? If all of a sudden it goes to 27-11, it's a lot different. And obviously you can see we only got to 26 at the end of the game, even with a 2-point play. We would have needed another 2-point play to even have a chance with what ended up happening in the game. And who knows if that happens if they don't maybe turn off the Jets on that drive when they're coming down the field.
So. Yeah, I mean, just a lot of credit for that coaching staff and those players just hanging tough. Great that Logan Bonner finally got into a rhythm there, and he was great.
Who's the quarterback for the Aggies?
It's Bonner, no question. If he's the guy that you're going to put it in his hands in the fourth quarter when it matters, then he's the guy. Now, having said that, I don't think they're going to go completely away from Peasley, because he does bring a different flavor. He's certainly more dangerous with his feet. So it wouldn't surprise me, especially with, our upcoming game, if we don't see both of them again. But, Bonner's the guy.
Okay.
Well, in that those 2 drives, what was he, like 10 for 10?
He completed his last 10 passes. Yep.
It was really the running game that was keeping moving them down the field, but the passing game started working. He started making some good reads, some good throws. Because part of the criticism earlier in the game is just neither one of the quarterbacks really had much rhythm. But I think you have to give a lot of credit to that run game for helping to get things going, and you extend the play, extend the drive, and then Bonner eventually started to get more comfortable and was not afraid of the situation that he was in.
And that, Ryan, you've been a quarterback. You were in high school quarterback. That last pass to Tompkins, that has to be exactly right where it was to make that play work.
All of those throws were. I can't think of one. Maybe the comeback to McGriff that he was
kind of
open.
Separated a little.
Had some separation.
And he did scramble to get to Bowling open with that catch on the ground, the catch that he kept. His hands under it looked like on the replay.
Yeah, so. And then, you convert on 4th down, throwing it to a running back. And no, he made great throws. And
17 of 24, 143 yards, touchdown, and an interception.
That interception was really the only bad ball he threw, really, that I can think of. So, and there was a guy that was open. Tompkins was open on that play. So, yeah, I was really impressed with his poise and, making some extremely tough throws and some tight windows. I'd be interested to see. I hope that, again, they open the offense up a little bit, let him throw the ball more vertically and see, what he can do with a little more wide open.
And Peasley was 6 for 12 and 76 yards. Somebody's saying about 3:30, 3:45 is when the Aggies arrive, or supposed to arrive back at the airport here. If any of you want to go out and cheer them on, I'm sure they would love that. I mean, as a player, you come back to town and it's in the middle of the night and all of that. But again, to feel of that, and then you got an opportunity to fill the stands this next Friday night for the home opener. Either one of you. Do you know the nickname of the North Dakota football team coming in?
I don't. The Jackrabbits.
No.
The Coyotes.
The Fighting Hawks.
Fighting
Hawks.
The Fighting Hawks beat Idaho State 35-14 today in Pocatello. Their quarterback threw for 183 yards, 14 out of 18. His name is, I think it's Tommy. Is it something Schuster? And the running back ran for 114 yards, 3 scores. Otis Way, W-E-A-H. And they led 27-7 before they won the game against Idaho State today, 35-14. And I think they beat South Dakota State, somebody said last year, and South Dakota State just beat Colorado State. So
these FCS schools,
they love
early
this.
on, man. They've been having FCS been having a day today.
Mm-hmm. Montana, Kent Bear, former Utah State, he's a Hall of Famer in the Utah State Athletics Hall of Fame. He has been defense coordinator at a lot of great schools. He's now at Montana. He held Washington to a 1 score. They drove the first play, the first series they had. They drove and scored, and they won at Washington. Can you imagine both Washington and Washington State's feelings about today?
Well, and Montana State nearly upset Wyoming.
Almost beat Wyoming. Yep, they were ahead a lot of the game and lost 19-16 today. So, and Nevada's the other team that won, and Hawaii's beating Portland pretty badly. Portland State, I think it is. So
that game's over.
Mm-hmm. So Hawaii rebounded from their loss to UCLA, which doesn't look too bad now because UCLA took care of LSU pretty easily too.
49-35. Didn't necessarily
eventually
knock their socks off there.
But and that's a team the Aggies will play at home is Hawaii. The Aggies will play San Jose. They play UNLV, and UNLV lost to Eastern Washington. And then the other game they have to play on the other side is is it San Jose? The other team.
The Aggies do play San Jose.
Yeah,
yes.
and they play San Jose, and San Jose lost to USC today. So those are the teams on the other side of the conference. All right, one final break for you. 753 KVNU if you want to join with us again. Appreciate Ryan Boehm and Eric Franson, and we'll come back with more Game Day on both the Fan and KVNU.
Hi, this is Ashley with LSS Insurance. The health insurance marketplace has reopened. This special enrollment period is available to everyone. If you have been adversely affected by COVID, lost coverage, need to make a change, or simply want to enroll, now is the time we can help. Call 752-9493 to find out how much you could save. More tax credits are being offered, greater cost sharing, and coverage could start as soon as the 1st. Go to lssins.com or call 752-9493.
Ascent Aesthetics is throwing a parking lot party Monday, September 13th from 4 to 8. The first 50 people receive gift bags. Enjoy food trucks, prizes every 15 minutes, live demos, and you can win amazing treatments like Botox, skincare, laser hair removal, and microneedling. Special pricing is available on all purchases. Join Ascent Aesthetics Monday, September 13th from 4 to 8 at 169 North Gateway Drive, Providence. Prizes, fun, and food. Go to AscentAesthetics.com. That's AscentAesthetics.com for more details. Ascent Aesthetics looks forward to meeting you.
This is Dave Simmons for Les Olson Company. It's 1st and goal on the 10-yard line. Your team is poised to make the play of a lifetime. Your quarterback hands off to the running back who rushes right into a wall. Now the away team says they'll take the wall out of your way, but only after you hand them a suitcase full of cash. That's exactly how ransomware works. In 2020, half of all organizations were victims of a ransomware attack. Don't take risks. Take action with the Les Olson Security Suite. Get your free network assessment at lesolson.com.
Remember when you were a kid and used to help your dad out with projects? He would say, "My roof, my rules." You grew up, bought your own roof, and made your own rules. Then your roof started leaking. But that's okay because your dad said he would help you fix it. Whoa, watch out. It was a great father-son bonding experience right up until you realized you were in over your heads and the roof didn't get fixed.
Don't risk your safety and your home's protection from the elements. Contact Roof Rescue's certified professionals at roofrescueusa.com. Roof Rescue, providing watertight peace of mind.
The home for Aggie Sports. News Talk KVNU. 102 FM and 610 AM.
Now, the heritage, again, of trying to cover the Aggies continuously and completely on KVNU goes back into the 40s like it does with Logan High football. And, again, Al Lewis here, along with Eric Frantz and Ryan Bohm to wrap it up. Do we have a who would you pick as the player of the game tonight for the Aggies?
I think it'd have to be Tompkins. For me, he just
made the big play early, and he made the touchdown catch at the end. And he's that flanker around the end around play. He could have been tackled for a loss, and he kept it going on that last scoring drive too. That was a big play.
That's right. He spun out of a tackle or two, and got 14 yards on it. I'd probably be inclined to say Devin Tompkins myself. I mean, obviously, Bonner led the team to 2 touchdown drives, but just there's too many inconsistencies throughout the game. But Tompkins was consistent through the game.
Would you say Tompkins and then Tyler?
Yeah.
Would that probably be then start to think about Bonner at that point. And then maybe a Tatum or somebody on defense, some of those. I'll tell you, at times, Joyner and Bannerman were terrific, and we saw a lot of Justin Rice early in the game, and then didn't see as much of him after a while on defense. But I think there's guys over there that can make a lot of plays. Nick Henniger ran down the quarterback on that one time after he got outrun the one time on the touchdown. He was able to get that quarterback, and I don't know how he caught him or on the sideline, but he did. And I'm glad he did because it was a little scary out there in that open territory. But 26-23, Aggies outscoring 15-3. In the last quarter. So it's 3-0 Utah State after one quarter. First time, I think, to go back to 2019 when they shut out somebody in the first quarter. And then it's a 6-2 game for Washington State in the second quarter. And then 14-6 in the third quarter. And then they score first. And then the Aggies score the last 15 points of the game to win it 26-23.
Great win for Utah State. As Coach said, short week. It's a Friday night game this next week. North Dakota, would you say Fighting Falcons?
The Fighting Hawks.
Fighting Hawks.
Hawks.
So
and
an
you
FCS
know that,
opponent, and you can't overlook the FCS right now.
And they'll come in here with nothing to lose, and they're going to let it all hang out. I'll tell you right now, they'll be much better than like Tennessee State or some of these teams that we have seen come in here the last couple of years and play the Aggies. They'll be better.
Right, and Utah State has a lot of stuff they need to clean up, and they need to get better at.
Matt Wells won his game today. Big game in college football. Georgia beat Clemson, 2 top 5 teams. No team in the the current championship series has ever lost their first game of the year and won the championship. So is Clemson out?
No. They're too good.
They're still Clemson.
Georgia won that game on a pick 6. 10-3.
That was it.
That was it.
The rest of the game was pretty boring.
Yeah, so, no, Clemson, and the ACC is kind of weak. So Clemson's going to go beat up on those teams, and then they'll be back, and they're going to be fine.
Okay, so we'll see if that ends up being a trend. There's a lot of interesting trends that the Aggies stopped, and we talked about them all pregame. Hope you enjoyed that, and hope you enjoyed all the coverage, and then watching on the Pac-12 Network and joining with us. Thank you very much for listening. Thanks to the sponsors. Ryan, good job, and your kids' teams won today. So it's how about that? They should be the blue A, and then maybe a gold B out there for the Bones or something.
That's today. Right. 3-0 today. It was a good day.
That's a good day to be an Aggie. And Ryan and Eric, thanks a lot for you too.
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's always fun to be here talking after a win.
And we haven't had many of those on the road to start the season against these kind of teams. You and Ajay will talk about it Tuesday afternoon, I'm sure, in detail.
Absolutely.
When you're back on the Full Court Press on Tuesday, on the Fan at 4.
Yep.
Okay. And we'll be back with morning news on KVNU Tuesday morning, so we're going to enjoy the holiday weekend. And so we will see you then. That'll do it for our coverage of Game Day on KVNU, brought to you in part by My Mattress. And they're doing their Labor Day sale right now. Some of the best deals ever on all of their great sleep products, which are the best. It's My Mattress down by the South Walmart, again in Logan. So for all the sponsors, Aggies 26-23, and again, a win at Washington State, evening the series at 2-2, and a win on the road against a team in a Power 5 conference for the first time since 1971, and Coach Anderson, the first head coach to win his first game since 48 years at Utah State. And again, the plane's supposed to come back around 3:45. So if you want to go out to the airport, if you're still awake, you have a chance to do that. All right, we will join now. Coast to Coast program in progress on KVNU.